You're listening to Video Villa Podcast, episode 26, National Lampoons Christmas Vacation, directed by Jeremiah Chekchik and written by John Hughes. So, in lieu of the holiday spirit, who doesn't love the Lampoon franchise? So
Most definitely. I mean, this movie is a stone cold Christmas classic, and it's funny because, I mean, I feel like all their movies are great. Even Vegas Vacation in its own right, I think is still good. But this one is probably the most favorable out of all of them. I think we briefly talked about it for a little bit during our vacation episode, which if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It's one of our earlier video ones, but that one we go into grave detail about the first movie and so forth. So if you're new here, welcome, but we have that to offer, not only this one.
Yeah. We definitely are big fans of the Lampoon franchise as well as Chevy Chase in general.
Yeah, and it sucks because Chevy Chase is so funny, and he has the worst reputation in Hollywood as being the biggest asshole. Oh. It sucks. It really does. Because, like, that was, we'll get into a little bit of it when we start to talk about the movie. But it does suck because I think
it makes sense why he plays like a good asshole.
Yeah, he plays a good smart ass. Like him and Bill Murray are like some of like the best smart asses on TV. I mean, they're just good at what they do, and I think that's because it's a little bit of themselves coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, like,
what better character to play than yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you know, like, what, you know, if I wanted to be in a movie, and I feel like the best capable version of myself would be a Southern version of myself, because that would just be me being me, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, you write what you know and you play what you know. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, because he's got classic characters where, like, Fletch, he's a big smart ass in Fletch. Caddyshack, he's a smart ass in Caddyshack.
I watched Caddyshack a lot as a kid.
Yeah, this was a movie that we watched a lot growing up. And it's funny, when you think of Christmas staples, like movies you got to watch during Christmas, and you have to watch Christmas Vacation. You have to.
Yeah, like our Christmas staples are It's a Wonderful Life, the black and white version, not the revised.
What? Yeah, oh, you mean the colored one?
Yeah.
Even the colored one's beautiful to look at. Or
restored, whatever it's called. We usually watch the first Home Alone, the National Lampoons.
Oh, definitely the second one, too.
Christmas Vacation. We finally got some claymation, the old school claymations. And what other Christmas movies? I feel like those are like the big ones. That
I always make you watch Trapped in Paradise, which you don't care for. But.
Yeah, but and then usually we'll try to like watch something new. Like last year was 8-Bit Christmas, which if you haven't seen it, you definitely should.
It's great. It is like I love that movie. In that movie, if you watched our last episode of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I talked about how much I like due date a lot. But in that is like a due date for me. Like, I think it's a very good remodern telling of a classic.
Oh, I really liked 8-Bit Christmas. And then this year we watched Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy, and that was pretty good.
It had its moments that were very cute, but I just I really liked the what were they porcelain dolls or what are the glass one, like those like little Christmas little part, the Christmas Village
figurines.
Yeah, the Christmas Village figurines and stuff like I really like that stuff. Like that was a cool take.
Yeah. And they were funny.
Yeah, and then there was parts of it that were good. Don't get me wrong, there was part that was good, but there was almost a little bit of a cheesy factor to it.
Well, yeah.
And I love I don't remember the actress's name, but his wife, she plays Rainbow in Blackish.
Yeah.
I think she's a great actress.
Yeah, she's a very good actress.
She's terrific.
She's fun to watch.
Yeah, she's just really enjoyable. She's something about her, like she just like brightens up the screen when she's on screen, and I just I'm glued to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just has that classic, like, I don't know. Even though she's not a classic, like I think of like classic like movie actresses when I see her. Something about like you just can't look away.
Who was the actor that played the essential villain, the bad elf?
Oh, the girl from Workaholics. That's all I know.
Yeah, she can be pretty like hit or miss for me.
Yeah, she can be really funny. Like what's the movie with Seth Rogen? The Christmas movie with Seth Rogen? She's his wife in it. We didn't watch that. We haven't watched that yet, but that one's a good one too. Twas the night or the night till or something like that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it and stuff like that.
I have no idea.
Shit.
Your
Whatever.
guess would be better.
I'll put the main in the video, whatever. But that movie is another good one. But yeah, she does okay in that one, and she's really funny in Workaholics.
Yes, I like her in Workaholics, but in the movie scene, she's hit or miss for me. Mm-hmm. Nothing against her. But
yeah, that movie was okay. We did watch. We watched the Christmas with the Campbells with Justin Long, and that one. All right, just. Bear with me here, you guys.
Well, don't spoil it. Either way, go watch it because it's just funny.
You don't think it's going to be as good as you think. When you start watching, you're like, this can't be good. And it actually is good.
Because it feels like it's a parody of a Christmas movie. It's so bad that it's good, if that makes
Well, here's the thing
sense.
One of the writers was Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And it is Vince Vaughn style comedy, but typically when you watch a Vince Vaughn style comedy movie, Vince Vaughn's in it. Yeah. So it feels like a low budget Four Christmases.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that kind of humor in Four Christmases, this is kind of a little bit like more of a low budget version of that. Mm-hmm. But it's still I don't know, I liked it a lot. I thought it was hilarious and it was very...
Oh yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, just listen to what we say and go check it out.
Give it a shot.
We don't want to go in too much because I think it'll take away the shock humor of what kind of movie you invested in.
And also that's not the movie we're reviewing today.
Well...
And back onto the movie we are reviewing. Without further ado,
I love this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, did you have any insight on it?
I mean, not really. There's the only stuff there's some famous. Okay, well, I don't know if you're aware, but the biggest story about it was so Christopher Columbus was actually going to direct this movie. Okay, he's the one who he wrote.
There's a guy actually named Christopher Columbus outside of
Christopher Columbus. Sometimes
I was outside of the actual Christopher Columbus.
Well, so he in some of the movies it's Chris, some movies it's Christopher, but Chris Columbus wrote Gremlins. Mm-hmm. He did Only the Lonely, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. He wrote and directed that one. He was going to direct this one. Basically he met up with Chevy Chase pre-production and he was talking to him and so forth and didn't really like Chevy Chase. They just did not hit it off. They did a dinner or so forth with someone else and it just didn't go well. Mm-hmm. And then he's very hesitant about taking on this film. He really wanted to. He needed a shot. He needed John Hughes had a lot of faith in Christopher Columbus and he really thought he could bring this movie, to town. And then he had a second meetup with Chevy Chase and what he was saying, Chevy Chase was so unbearable and he did nothing but talk down to him, made fun of him and just degraded him. He said, I cannot work with this person. And then just got away from the movie. I mean, this was a big deal for Chris Columbus. Big deal. But with that being said, so after he turned down the film, John Hughes was, he was like, thank you for all the opportunity, but I just can't do this. Yeah. And then John Hughes reached back out to him. He's like, listen here, I understand. I get it. Don't worry. I got some scripts I want you to look over. And he sent him some scripts. He goes, I think you'd be good for one of these. Mm-hmm. And that one of those scripts was Home Alone, which movie classic. Yeah. And that's launched his career.
A household classic.
Yeah. After Home Alone is when, the year after that is when he did Only the Lonely. So he wrote and directed that one. And it is just great. And so is Home Alone. And there you go. Christopher Columbus is one of, he's a great director. Director.
However, just not for this one.
He just couldn't do it. And we got Jeremiah Chechik, his directing motion picture debut. Also, and I think he did a great job.
Sidebar, people who get normal last names, please.
Yeah.
For my sanity and having to do the intro with these names, Jesus.
I have mispronounced names so many times on this show. I'm sorry. I'm not that guy.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not that guy. I'm not good at pronouncing names. You know what I mean? So I'm unfortunately, but
yeah, any of these hard names you can trust that the first 5 minutes before we press record is us listening to Google say it to us. A
little behind the scenes, if you will, BTS.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so like he did this film. He did a great job. He went on to do Benny and June, which is another very good movie.
Who, Jeremiah?
Yeah. Benny June's a good movie. And then he did Tall Tale. Do you remember that one when you were little? With Patrick Swayze, and it's about all the like Mark Henry and the guy who can lasso.
You can name names until you're blue in the face.
No, Mark Henry's the the guy who beat the steam engine. He the story about the black man who did the railroad. You remember?
No.
You remember that story growing up?
No.
I remember I did.
You never know where these go.
I wanted to do it. It was it was Black History Month, and I had to write a paper, and I wanted to write a paper on Mark Henry, and then they were like, "That wasn't a real man, Logan." I was like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, for real? Can I still write a letter?
But that movie was okay. Some people liked it. I remember being a little like watching it and like it wasn't as good as I thought the trailers made it out to be. And that's just my mind of as a child. I haven't watched it since then. Benny and June is one that you can definitely rewatch a lot. It's very, very good. It's got, one early Johnny Depp in a lead role.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember if that's 1990. Maybe it was 1990. I don't remember. But it's very well done. But yeah. So you mean, besides those movies, he made other movies, but those are, I think, those are like the most like eye poppers, for you. The cool thing about this movie, if I want to say some more stuff about the movie, is like the amount of detail that goes into these National Lampoon's vacation movies. That's what makes me enjoy this movie so freaking much. The fact that we have callbacks from the previous movies.
Oh,
in the movie.
You have like the Wally World moose cups that they're drinking eggnog out of. I think there's like a Wally World ornament maybe or something. No,
it's just the punch bowl with the eggnog.
For some reason I thought there was also like an ornament or something.
There's that,
behind the scenes.
And then we all know
not behind the scenes, but going on in the
and
background.
the thing is, every movie, we all know, like Clark works in the food industry on preservatives, and it's a little part of the movie, so it makes you still building.
And they keep the family dynamic together, and they keep the feelings towards the family member dynamic.
Even some of the characters might change, because obviously there's big time frame differences, but you want to keep the children young and stuff like that. So I get like swapping out Rusty and Audrey and stuff like that. That's fine. But in the first movie, Bev, Ellen calls, I was going to say her actress name, but Ellen calls him Sparky. In this movie, she's still calling him Sparky.
Yeah.
Those little things that I really like a lot. And it's
just the same thing as like when you watch a TV series and each episode feeds into the next episode. Now, like there are some TV series where each episode is a new storyline, but the thing that always gets me hooked is the TV series where it's a continuation of the previous episode. So it's a long story.
Bob's Burgers is really big on that. They'll go back to like season 2 and season 3.
Yeah.
And then they're in season 12 and they're bringing up jokes from there.
And they go through like the seasons of the year. I mean, Full House was the same thing. You see them go through Christmas and your Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And it's very uniform in that. So it's nice to follow along with.
As far as like building a dynamic, and we're all at this point, we're only talking about 3 films, but I think they just do it great. They just do it very well. And, Clark he's not a bad dad. And we've got this, I
know, but he's being like overworked at work, and that causes stress at home, just like it would with anybody.
They basically described it when he was creating the character, and I don't know if the same dynamic stayed from the beginning of creating the character into this third film, is the fact that like he was this dad that, was always away. Yeah. And during these big moments in life, he tries to show up 100% in being a dad because he doesn't want to miss these moments go by because he's finally got the time and opportunity away from work where he can be there for his family. He wants to show up and he wants to be there.
And he pours his all into it. And it seems like everything just goes wrong when he tries to do that.
And I love that. I love that. I love that character.
You love it until you're Clark Griswold.
Yeah.
Then you don't.
But I love that aspect of his character. I mean, it really... that's what really sells it for me. And this movie is, there's that. And this movie's all eat up with that. And then also like, like going back to like I brought this up on National Lampoons episode, the vacation one. But like, okay, so in the very first movie, Eddie gives Clark these shoes. He goes, I know. He goes, I know how much you like mine. And apparently these shoes are supposed to be hideous as sin. There's just these white shoes with like these.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot in that episode.
Yeah, the gold clips. Well, this is the movie. When Eddie comes in the house and he's walking around the Christmas tree and he's drinking the eggnog, if you look, he's wearing said shoes on his feet. And it's that amount of detail that they put into the film where they added the little parts into it.
Oh, yeah, it's a full investment to keep things going.
Yeah. And the cool thing is some of these, some of the story that John Hughes wrote is from, once again, he writes what he knows. Yeah. This was based off a short story they wrote in 1980s for the National Lampoons. And then he had the opportunity to turn it into a movie. Yeah. Now, as far as the short story, I didn't read the short story, so I don't know what all it entailed. But, that's the premise is there. And I believe it was called Christmas 59. Which we get a call back in the movie. Yeah,
when he's watching the films in the attic.
Yeah, he pulls out the real Christmas 59. But yeah, how about you read the back of the box?
So this is probably the longest synopsis I've seen on any of these movies I've read out of 25 movies. Yeah, it's crazy. But so in the front you have Chevy Chase or Clark on his roof in a Santa suit. Which he spends the last half of the movie in. On the back, you have a review from WNBC TV from New York. I laughed myself silly. Christmas vacation jingled my bells. It's Christmas time for the Griswolds, a season for giving, for Yuletide carols, for Christmas tree lights glowing brightly. Hey, wait! That's not glowing, it's on fire. Yes, Christmas is the perfect season for Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase, and his family. Clark's a disaster waiting to happen. Before you can sing fa la la la, he's decking the halls with howls of folly and a box office hit, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It was Wally World or bust in National Lampoon's Vacation. Stonehinged, unhinged in National Lampoon's European Vacation. Now Clark wants to make sure his family enjoys the most fun-filled, old-fashioned family Christmas ever. Uh-oh. You have to see it to believe it. There are 25,000 lights on Griswold's rooftop, an exploding turkey on Griswold's table, a dozen or more turkeys, including Randy Quaid, as guests inside the Griswold home, and a SWAT team taking battle station outside. Clark Griswold strikes again. And so does Vacation series creator John Hughes. You'll love it. And W-U-L-E.
You're right. That is really long.
It's so long and it has so many play on words in it. I'm glad I read that one before we recorded. Because I was like, what is on the back of this? None of them are ever that long, and it's very punny, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what tongue twisters and stuff like that. Oh, no. That's why I give you the job to read the box.
Oh, yeah. Even that one was rough.
There'd be 10 takes if I had to read it.
Yeah.
If I had to read it.
That's I treat my work chat like Reddit, and I'm upvote. Downvote. That's my comments on stuff on our chatter. But yeah, so the movie kicks off in a cartoon type format, which Logan just is tickled pink over.
Unfortunately, that we didn't get the tradition of Holiday Rolled in this one. What's called, we have a new movie. We have a new song written for the movie called Christmas Vacation. But we didn't get no more Lindsey Buckingham. But I do like this song, Christmas Vacation, Christmas. That's great.
It's very play. Yeah, it's fun.
I remember this so much being little, the cartoon opening.
And it kicks off in the place where I feel like they spend every movie in because they're on vacation or heading towards vacation, which is the wagon. Yeah. And they are on their way to get their Christmas tree, essentially. Yeah, it starts off with the kids are already annoyed with Clark. Clark is happy-go-lucky.
Once again, they're singing again. They're singing again in the car.
Well, and then they're singing, but then it gets ruined by the truck trying to like on their tail end.
Yeah. The guy's basically on their tail end, and then Clark's getting tired of it, so he speeds off, and then they basically end up brake checking Clark.
Yeah.
And, then he's like, all right, I'm tired of this. I'm just going to speed off. And
yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, not the same thing, but the last time you had like the girl drive past him or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But
I mean, we
got
wasn't
a little
like
play.
that.
A little play, just similar, something that's like close to home that we're used to.
Yeah. So, but then it's also funny because then she like, obviously the moment got awkward or whatever. So then his wife, Ellen, is that his wife's name? Ellen tries to like keep singing and just no one feeds into it.
Oh, yeah. And then, because he gets all pissed off and he flicks them off. And then, so then he's not paying attention and then ends up driving underneath a logging truck, which is
Final Destination.
Classic style, which, he's, they're all scared to death, and then he jerks out from underneath it, and
Clark's unbothered.
It wouldn't be a movie if he wasn't launching the vehicle.
That can be my driving when people irritate me on the road.
Oh yeah.
When I'm by myself.
No, when you're irritated, you drive. You get on to me about my driving. When you're irritated,
well, that's
you drive.
Because you are bad at driving, just driving in general.
Becca has all these rules on how you drive her car, and she breaks every single one of those rules.
Well, because the thing is, if I total my car, that's on me. That's my car. I own the car. I own the insurance. I literally own the car. So that's my problem. You wreck my car. Well, that's not fair to me. You did that.
I'm sure. Well, you're only insured your own self on your car.
No, but still,
if you're in the passenger seat, you'd still be insured.
Yeah, but sometimes you drive my car without me.
No, I'm talking about we're driving around with you.
I mean, I have the same rules with or without me.
And she likes to break them.
Well, it's okay if I break them in my car. The thing is, well, one, if you all only knew the car that I drove. But yeah, you can't really trust it. I trust it, yes. But that's because if I fuck it up, that's all me.
I'll just leave it at, how old it's 20 years, 23 years old?
It's a 2000.
2000, okay.
So it's 23 years old.
It's not like she's driving around in Bentley or something like that.
I own it, so I don't give a shit. How many of y'all got a crazy ass car payment? I don't. So there we go.
But
I don't care how old it is.
But anyway, okay. So back to the movie. They launch the car into the snowbank, and they show up. They just so happen they're at the place to get the Christmas trees. But Clark is dragging them all around the freaking woods to find the perfect Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And clearly picks out a tree that's way too big.
Yeah, they're
for
doing
their
like the
house.
pick your own and cut it down type gig.
Which is ridiculous. In like the fact that like that was there's no way, even if you had 10-foot ceilings, that tree's like 20 feet tall.
Yeah. I always wonder that. Like, do you ever see these big houses like in real life when you're driving around looking at Christmas lights or whatever, and you see inside these people's like in the nice neighborhoods, these big ass trees? It's like, how did you A, get that inside, and B, how did you even get that here?
Well, they're probably fake trees. More than likely they're fake trees, so you can put them together.
Our fake tree is what, 8 foot tall?
I don't know.
I think 7 or 8 foot.
I think it's a 7-footer.
Yeah, our artificial tree. And I mean, even that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I couldn't imagine doing a 12-foot.
My mom's tree's a 12-foot.
I do feel like
that's heavy as fuck.
Yeah, I do feel though when you get the taller artificial trees, they're a little bit skinnier, so you don't have as many branches.
Well, there's two different types of trees. There are thin trees, skinny trees.
Yeah, you can get them thin and tall. Trees.
Yeah.
I like the fat trees. They're fun.
Fat trees are fun.
Well, because they have more to them. They're beefier. They're more Christmassy.
They got a little bit more to grab your hands on.
Yeah, more for the ornaments.
You can fill them up really nice.
Yeah,
they got more room.
Yeah, so we get past the Christmas tree and the fact that Clark's just going all out like he always does, and it just bites him in the butt and forgets every time. And the funny, he forgets the freaking saw or axe or whatever you want to use to cut down the Christmas tree. And there's no way in hell they would have been able to push the Christmas tree out of the ground. Yeah, no.
But it's still funny. It's, it's that comical, like slapstick style humor.
Yeah.
But yeah, then so after this, we get a little glimpse at Clark's work. And I think this is the first time we actually see him,
inside of his work.
Yeah, we actually see him, what he does and stuff like that. So he works in the city, and it's this funny like banter between like that kind of like that like exec, like, oh, I don't like that, like what would you consider like that office high dollar
What are you trying to
executive?
get at?
I don't know.
Are you trying to get like where
The
his boss
scene.
is that
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
hierarchy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of executives, and obviously that make more than Clark, but probably do way less than Clark does.
It basically seems like he's just
And-
around a lot of yes men, basically.
Yeah. And so they're all filing one by one into either out of the building or into office. I don't know. And he's like, "Fuck you, fuck you."
Yeah, he's like, he goes, I
Friday.
need a report on that so and so. He's like, and give me some of that layman's term, none of this something bullshit. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, of course, sir. And he's like, it's like Merry Christmas, kiss his ass, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little funny banter, and then
He's got to go Christmas shopping, so he takes himself to the mall.
and it wouldn't be a movie without a pretty lady in it.
And Clark doing what he shouldn't do. And at this point, he he lied and said he wasn't there with his family. I think he said he was in business on the
He says he's
he's divorced.
Yeah, okay.
First he makes it seem like she's dead.
And then he's like, no, I'm just divorced. Then why would you be getting your divorced wife a Christmas present?
Yeah. And he's like, but there's still plenty of time to shop. He just gets all wrapped up in his words because he's doing what he's not supposed to do.
He's flirting with another woman.
Yeah. And then Rusty comes up just as the lingerie clerk was showing him how her underwear are no-show underwear.
Okay. And then also this scene, I'll show a still right here. What is with this movie, and we were watching Family Man. I'm going to show a still from Family Man right here, of people half-ass wearing their damn jackets.
They're wearing a hoodie, and then their actual winter jacket is like
it's literally hanging off their shoulders.
Do you remember the stage where people like put their arms in their hoodie like you're about to put it on, but never put it over their head?
No.
I remember people did that a lot.
No.
Around here, at least, like so when you put like a hoodie on, you put your arms in, the back is facing your face, but then you just wear it like that, like across your chest with just your arms in it.
No.
Yeah.
I remember when people used to wear their clothes backwards.
I don't. What?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big thing in the early 90s. Even like, was it crisscross? I think it was crisscross.
Oh, I couldn't, the sensory overload on that. Because the back of your shirt is way higher than the front of your shirt, so it's like, no.
Yeah.
I'd be cutting all the backs of my shirts or just wear them the right way.
And I don't know why that irritated me so much. I'm like, why is he wearing a jacket like that? And then we watch Family Man, which I love Family Man. And then that's how his wife in the movie's wearing his jacket at the mall. I'm like, all right, so it's not just Rusty from the movie. Obviously, this is something.
It must have just been a thing, yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's like, I want to wear my jacket, but I don't want to commit to it. So I'm just having it slack on me. I don't know.
I do know, like, some people do like that off-the-shoulder look with not just shirts, but, like, cardigans and stuff like that. I don't know. I'd get too annoyed because then you're all restricted when you got to move your arms around.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, thank you.
But yeah, we get a funny little scene and we get introduced to our babe of the movie, which I'm sorry, but
Mary.
But yeah, Mary. Well, that's my name. No shit.
Yeah.
I still think Beverly D'Angelo is a beautiful woman. And I still think she's a babe, even though that they always introduce like these characters. I'm like, but man, Clark, you got a babe right there. She's beautiful. Come on, man.
She's very pretty, but her teeth remind me of like pacifier teeth.
Yeah, you kept on saying that when we were watching the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I've said it when we watch all of them, where it's just like the teeth protrude outward a little bit. But other than that, she's still very pretty, and they still like fit her face. I mean, nowadays all these
and she's got beautiful
people,
hair. Her hair's beautiful.
Same thing with Audrey's like curly hair.
Oh, in the movie,
it's very pretty.
Yeah,
that dense curls.
But back to the movie.
So then we move home from his shopping spree. Window shopping for women, literally. And so we get home, and it is just moments before there's a knock on the door, and you hear a bunch of like banter or bickering on the front steps.
Yeah.
And the door opens, and like a little bit of chaos breaks loose. And if any of you guys watching or listening have hosted family, it does sometimes feel like that. Logan and I have hosted quite a few holidays, and those first few minutes of people arriving at your house
are so stressful.
Because you're still trying to do stuff. They're all coming in, but you're also trying to welcome them in because like no one wants to come in your house when you're like being poopy or have a bad attitude.
Well, there's nothing worse than like when I like, let's say like it's Like when we first moved in the house, like I don't care what event it was, but like all the people show up, and mind you, all these people that are showing up are all Becca's family, and she like ran off to do something. I'm just by myself. I'm like, oh, hi y'all. And I just felt awkward. I was like, do what you want to do.
You'd already met all of them,
I know,
but it was just a storm of all of them. They all came in at once. But yes, and then also we have family that like just runs off. And Dad, if you're listening, that's you. But yeah, they like the dogs. But yeah, those and taking the dogs for a walk.
Well,
but,
this is stressful because it's clashing family. It's obviously the Clark's family and her family. They're not best friends. You know, this is not.
All my
stereotypical
family,
like. I don't know, comedy.
In-laws or whatever,
in-laws,
blended families. No, my families, we're all up each other's butts. But yeah, so it's super chaotic, and the dads are bickering of whose car gets the garage, and Clark's trying to like wrangle Russ to go organize the cars, just something to get out of the house. Yeah. So his alternative to getting out of the house was to
he moves the cars.
He moves the cars, but then he also starts to do the Christmas decorations outside. And
I have to say, Clark's family is not. They're the sweetest.
Oh yeah, his parents remind me of both of our parents, but mostly your parents.
Yeah, no, like his dad is like. I'll get to him when we get to the scene, but there's some parts like the things that
thankfully neither of us have Ellen's parents.
Yeah.
Their parents
God.
Suck.
It's that whole classic of like, you know, my son-in-law was not good enough. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's funny because like the Clark's dad, literally some of the words, like you can pull the script from the movie, and my dad said that numerous of times.
So there's the reference where unfortunately the lights don't work, and he wrangles everybody outside for this big reveal of the lights.
We'll talk more about it when we get there.
Yeah. But the commentary from his dad is very much like Logan's dad. I'm gonna go lay in bed.
If you need me, come get me. I'll just be upstairs asleep.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Anytime we go visit, it's just like, where's Dad at? Well, he's laying in bed sleeping.
Yeah. So now you get the first like real bad thing to happen. He tries to get the ladder up. The ladder falls back down.
Yeah. So basically, he's made his way outside. He's starting to put up the Christmas tree lights, and even before that, we get a little funny thing because obviously, like, Clark's not a popular person.
We also get a reveal of my favorite person.
Who?
Ellen?
Not
Ellen.
Elaine,
yeah.
Yeah. Margot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like, so we
always be Elaine.
Well, obviously, you can tell. Like, prior to this, we had a little interaction between their neighbors, which obviously don't like Clark.
Yeah.
And we get the funny scene where I want the NECA character. I don't know why I haven't bought it yet, but I want the NECA character is really cool of Clark wearing the hockey mask, and it makes it look like Friday 13th. But we get this cool little scene of him coming out of the garage prior to the scene we're talking about. And that's an awfully big Christmas tree. Where are you going to put that, Clark? And he says, bend over, I'll show you. You got some nerve, Griswold. He goes, wasn't talking to you. Yeah. So obviously we can tell they don't like each other, and that's going to come into play based off of what happens him. So he's basically trying to put up the Christmas tree lights, and, you know, he gets his sleeve called in, and, you know, and nearly falls off the ladder once.
Oh, the Christmas lights.
Not Christmas lights, Christmas lights. And the thing is, as you can tell, it was daytime. It cuts back, and it's still nighttime, and he's still trying to put up the Christmas lights. And he falls off the roof and grabs on by the gutters, and then the gutters break away, shoot a sheet of ice into the neighbor's house, and destroys their. God, this is 1989, so it was probably a super expensive stereo system.
Yeah.
Just destroys it.
I love their house, though.
Oh,
that modern.
I don't like that modern 90s. There's like this.
So there's two houses I really want, and that take priority over this one. And we all know the first one, which is Kitty and Red's house. Yeah. In that 70s show. God, I love that house. And then the next one would be WandaVision house in
Which
the
one?
beginning.
Oh, the one where it's black and white? Because, the house changes.
No, so when it changes colors, and it's very similar to the Kitty and Red's. And then I also like this one.
That's the thing is, there's nothing
But number one, Kitty in Red.
There's nothing more gross, and I say this with the kindness of my heart.
Well, not if you're saying that.
I'm just saying, like,
this is so gross, but I mean that in the nicest way.
I'm just saying, like, that late 80s, 90s money, like what people considered wealthy. Like Art Deco, like design.
Art Deco, yeah.
Not Art Deco, artistic choices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just does not, like part of Clark and them's house to this day, if you went to their house to this day, you still think, hey, this is a nice house. Even with the wallpaper, because that still came back around. That late 80s.
What I don't miss was like the 2000s, like, it was mostly in kitchens, but like the country, like the red apples and the roosters and the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't miss that.
No, that's not farmhouse, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't farmhouse the way farmhouse is said nowadays, but it was like that, like, reminds me of like country crock for some reason, which is
No, yeah. That's like, I mean, if you, well, obviously, because you didn't grow up in the South, but if you go in the South, like, there was a lot of my friends' houses.
Do they all have porcelain roosters on their kitchen counter
They
table?
had stuff like that. They had farming equipment hanging on the walls as decorations and shit like that. Like, it was, I don't know, but it was definitely a vibe. It was definitely a vibe back then. And then also, and then if they were hunters, they were really into hunting, you get to their house, and I had this one friend.
What, the taxidermy deer heads?
Well, they had they had taxidermy deer heads.
But yeah, I mean, that's just like a...
But no, the couch. The couch would be country style couch. It would be wood and then cushions, but there would actually be pictures on the cushions of like a shed or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking Which obviously you don't get that anymore, but that was, you know.
Yeah, even Graham has like taxidermied ducks in a basement or something like that.
Yeah, that was another big thing.
And guns hanging on the wall.
Ducks, yeah. A lot of people would have taxidermy ducks.
But yeah, so he's putting the lights up, he falls off the roof, and then also... Usually when something bad happens to Clark, at least outside, it affects Margot and what's his name's house? Todd's house.
Get it together. We got trivia coming up on Wednesday. We're gonna murder him. If you see this will come out before Wednesday, but by Wednesday we should
make a post.
We should bring home that championship.
Yeah. And yeah, so then we get the attic scene. So the family's going Christmas shopping. So they've obviously come a few days early for Christmas, which I feel like all families
do. So the lights don't work, and this is the next day.
Yeah, he's still trying to figure it out, but he gives it up for the night. And so now they're all going Christmas shopping, and Clark gets left behind because he gets locked in the attic, and they think he's just using the bathroom or just moseying.
They're like, he's got another car. He can make his way out.
Well,
here.
yeah, that's Ellen's dad.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so fucking mean.
Yeah, he's a butthead. And in the attic, a few things happen to Clark, but the one thing that cracks me up the most is he ends up putting on like old ladies' clothes and watching childhood films, and is sitting there crying, watching childhood films.
I love this. I love this.
But it's funny the fact that he's dressed in childhood films, but he's dressed
and his mama's so pretty.
Yeah.
She's so, even though they try to make her look young again, they put a wig on her, and because it's black and white, I think the footage is black and white, but she seems so sweet.
But it's just funny. He has mittens and a scarf on and a woman's like bonnet hat type thing on. And
his Uncle Luce is such a, like, he grabs the Christmas presents out of the back of the car and he smacks at his hand.
Yeah.
And it's, in my head, I'm like, I always thought, I was like, well, where's his dad at? Where's his dad at? I'm like, oh, well, he's probably the one who's videotaping.
Yeah.
So that's probably why you don't see him on the, more than likely he was the one who was running the video camera.
Coincidentally, Graham's VHS camcorder broke like 1 year after I was born.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. You could ask my mom.
The running joke was that I broke it. Not that I physically broke, but like it just, they were like, we don't need videos.
I made so many home videos. I mean, like literally, I made tons of videos with our video camera, and then my parents upgraded and got us got me a camera of 1 year from Black Friday or something like that, and I made tons. Like I took that everywhere. All my friends' house, I had the video camera. I brought it over.
Oh yeah, I was the big camera. So my grandma had like a Polaroid camera, so I'd like stack my Beanie Babies up or like pose them and stuff like that, and take pictures of them or the sky or a picture with my thumb over the lens.
No, the best the best part of that are the videotapes. So I was playing one, and my mom doesn't let me talk about it. So you might want to turn away, Mama. But she's like, it's like, it's being like, if someone's got a camera playing and you're shooting a 30-minute long video on Christmas morning, probably got someone yelling at somebody in the background doing something.
Oh, yeah, you told me this, yeah.
She gets all upset because it's like, I don't know, like I was like, she's like getting really upset because she was yelling at me like about something, and it's just, or like my dad got the video camera, he's videotaping, and he's like, she didn't have her makeup on. She's like, look, Chico, I'll tell you one more time, you get that camera out of my face. I don't got my makeup on. And she's like, mind you, my dad's. This could either be very embarrassing or very funny, or some families can relate. I don't know.
Or we're gonna die when Kirby gets into town. That's why I'm staying quiet. But yeah, that's just like, yeah, our family videotapes stuff too, and then it was very big on like cameras and things like that, and like there's one picture that's like all grainy and weird, but me and my sister were 6 years apart, but born 2 weeks apart. And our birthdays are in April, so usually Easter falls. So it was always like, we got ripped off. It was like an Easter gathering and a shared birthday party for years. But there's one where I have like I was super blonde or whatever, and I'm in a bathing suit for some reason on Easter. I don't know why. At least a bathing suit cold. Top.
Yeah.
But I still have that like baby belly that little babies have. So like my sister's opening her gifts, and I guess I'm upset that I'm not opening mine. So like I have my head down.
Is it like
this little baby belly?
It's like that picture of the orangutan just sitting there with his gut all.
we can put it in here. But she's opening her gifts, and I clearly probably either got yelled at for trying to open her gifts, or I was upset because it wasn't my turn yet. But I have my head tucked down. I have my little bun and my bangs. But yeah, my belly's just sticking out. I have it on my phone. We'll post it here.
I'll do a picture of who wore it better, you or the ring.
Yeah, I definitely had that little baby fat. And it doesn't help that I'm already pouting. But yeah, so he's watching his family videos, which I think we all can like relate, whether it's looking back at pictures or videos, and he's crying and stuff. And the family comes home, and obviously you have to hide the gifts and stuff that you bought. So Ellen goes to open the attic. Also, he steps where you're not supposed to step several times.
Yeah, it's just right on the that's not drywall. I don't know if they call it like plaster or whatever it was, where it was just like the strips of wood and shit. You're supposed to stay
on the frames, and that's ingrained in my head because
you know not to do that. And there's if you watch, there's even walking boards for him to walk on. He chooses not to walk on them. Oh, no, they hit him in the face. That's
well, it's also engraved in my head because my grandma would always send me up in the attic for her.
Oh, that's
but she always be like, don't step there, don't step there, only step here. It was so stressful. Where can I step? Like, I don't understand.
But yeah, so she pulls down the attic stairs, and he falls down. Her.
Which I'm also like, how is that even holding you up? It's a pressure door.
I don't know.
Gravity holds it up, but if you're sitting on it, I don't know. Whatever.
But yeah, so we fast forward to the second attempt. He's back at the lights, trying to get him to work, and
it's this back and forth where it's a plug somewhere, and it's a plug in the garage that is hooked to the switch.
Yes.
So unfortunately, all of our outlets in our home right now are like that.
Yes.
But it's very common in rentals. So at the same time that they're trying to get the lights to work, people in the house are turning the garage light on for other reasons, not to help him.
His mom's going to get the cake that she brought,
and then Ellen does it
like
once, not realizing it while messing with the plugs. Yeah. And finally, they realize it, and they get the lights going.
Yeah.
And it's right when Margot and Todd are about to have some intimate time. So it is like a huge blast of light.
Apparently, when he gets pissed off and punches the Santa, Clark, apparently he broke his pinky, and then after he punches the Santa, they say you see it, like he just starts kicking everything because his fucking hand hurts so much. He had to stop throwing punches because he broke his pinky.
Watching him do that, I'm like, those are so expensive.
Oh yeah, those little modes. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Don't do that; they'll crack. But And as they're all over the lights, like a beautiful moment.
Who's there to ruin it?
Suddenly, and Clark's like crying. He's just so happy.
Oh, Ellen's dad's like, there's some of the twinkling lights aren't twinkling there, Clark. Thank you. I forget what his name is. Thank you for pointing that out. I always know you would.
Yeah. And then suddenly you hear Eddie's commentary, and no one really notices for a second. Eddie is there, but no one realizes.
He's like, thank you, Eddie.
Eddie? Yeah. And they have pulled up in the raunchiest RV ever. This like broke down
I'm surprised
RV.
I'm surprised there's not holes in it. They're so rusted. It's so gross.
Probably in the floorboards. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so bad. Oh, the one scene, so like, Eddie shows up, unannounced, and he was like,
what's new?
Yeah, what's called it? Was Clarice? Is Clarice his wife's name?
Oh, I have no idea.
I can't remember if it was Clarice. I think it was Clarice. She was like, well, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she was like, well, she said that she wanted us to let you know that we were on our way, but I said, we better surprise them. Wouldn't they like that surprise?
Yeah.
He's like, sure is, Eddie.
Yeah. And then he realizes that they are here to stay. Not for how long yet. That's to come.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like the grandparents, so Ellen's parents, are like super duper nice to like both of them almost. It seemed definitely
they
nicer
love
to
Eddie,
them. Yeah.
and which is weird because and that's funny because I'm not gonna lie, like that is a stereotype. It seems like when, like for example, if like let's say, I don't know, let's say you were previously divorced and like. Let's say you're a woman and your last husband was cheating on you, and then you actually find a good man, and then and then like y'all grow a family, and it always seems like the parents give the second husband a more run for his money than the first husband that turns out to be an awful person or something like that. It seems like the people
like the first one got more grace than the second one.
Yeah. It seems like this is kind of like a stereotype.
Yeah, where like it's almost like it's the idea that is like tainted. Like the new husband, the idea of a husband for your child is like tainted after, or a wife for your child. Or
the fact that like it seems like the people that are not good people, for some reason, people favor them more than a person who's a good person. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I thought I understood for a second, but then you took it even further and left ball field. So, you get Eddie and Clark, and they're drinking eggnog out of the Wally World cups, and they're chatting back and forth, and Eddie breaks it to Clark that he is going to be staying for a month. And Clark spits his eggnog everywhere and was not expecting that at all. And ultimately...
Catherine. Her name's Catherine. I had to think about it. Clarice. Catherine. Close, yes.
Yeah, like Clarice. That's from...
Silence of the Lambs, yeah.
Oh, no, but also, wasn't that the kid's name in the one cartoon?
What cartoon?
I forget. We'll plug it in here. Gravity Falls.
Clarence?
Oh, Clarence, yeah. But yeah, so Eddie breaks the news that they're going to be staying for a month, and the kids have got to stay in the house, though, because he wants some alone time with Catherine.
Yeah.
And the dog's drinking the water out of the tree.
Yeah. We get a good...
It's just pure chaos now at this point, and it's just unraveling chaos.
Well, the scene when Eddie shows up and goes in the house, and it's just like, he's just doing all, like, first off, he's wearing like a fake ascot or fake turtleneck sweater. They used to see him on freaking magazines, and you can wear them underneath your sweater, but he's wearing a see-through thin sweater, so you can obviously see it.
The funny thing is, though, I was literally just looking them up on Amazon because I wanted to buy ones with a collar so I could wear them under a crew neck. Well, and then you were talking shit about them.
No, that's fine if you're wearing an article of clothing that doesn't let you know that it's not a shirt.
Yeah, he's wearing a black one with a bleach white see-through V-neck. He did it wrong.
Yeah, and so we got that, and he
the dog's drinking out of the bowl. They're trying at this point
the candle, like spin wheel thingy.
Yeah.
It spins because the heat of the candles or whatever. Like he just touches it, falls apart. He's getting nuts and he's just cracking them and letting them fall on the ground.
Yeah, he's just a horrible house guest.
He's a slob. Like, yeah, slob. There you go. Yeah.
So we moved on now and they're taking all the kids sledding, and Clark is using his work's brand new product to grease up the bottom of the tin lids.
Like a Pam.
Yeah, to make them go faster, and he wants to give it a try first. And you get all these cheesiness where it's like, don't try this at home, kids. I'm a professional.
This scene is great because I laugh.
It's just over dramatic.
I laugh so hard at this scene where he's like, Clark, I don't want to put any of that on my sled. He's like, you know that metal plate in my head? He's like, yeah, how could I forget, Eddie? He's like, well, you know, I had to get it switched out because every time Catherine would start up the microwave, I shit myself and forget who I was for 30 minutes. So now I had to replace it with a plastic one. And
he's like, if I dent this, my hairline's not going to look good.
Yeah, I don't want anything between the ground and my skull with a piece of government plastic. You understand what I'm saying? He's like, well, what's the difference, Eddie? He's like, well, you know, my hairline goes right here, and my hairline ain't gonna look right if I get this dented.
Yeah. So Clark tries out his new product in the tin can, and you get this like big rocket launch, and he's going down the hill ridiculously fast.
This is very Looney Tunes cartoony, but still, it's cute. It's cute. Yeah, and he ends up winding up at Walmart, and I don't know, just this little. It's and so also stupid,
what's behind the scenes here at the same time is Clark is also waiting for his Christmas bonus from his work, and he's really hoping he gets it. So that's kind of another added stress to Clark. He's trying to enjoy the holidays with his family, but he also really, really wants that Christmas bonus. And this is kind of where you get to play into that because they're back at the house, and he starts having pool fantasies of all the family around the pool, but also Mary from the lingerie kiosk.
We get a little bit of side boobage here.
Yeah.
No full on frontal like in the first one, but we get a little side boob.
Yeah. So. He's daydreaming. Yeah, he's daydreaming about. I love that song. He's daydreaming about his pool and everything, which is what he would like his Christmas bonus for, which will be announced later.
Which is also funny because when he says this later in the movie, he tells everybody because he's held this a secret. Even Ellen doesn't know, and he lets them know like with this bonus check, I'm gonna get put in a pool, and if I got a little bit of money left over, I'm gonna fly all y'all down so y'all can enjoy it with us this summer. And he goes, Clark, I can't swim. He's like, I know, Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. So then you get the next morning, and mind you, there are just so many people in this house. And
we get Ruby. Was it Ruby Sue? She comes in. She thinks he's Santa Claus, and we get the little. Yeah. We get. I only bring it up.
Bricks. You shouldn't say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Shit and rocks.
So she sees him looking out the window, and he's wearing a red robe, and she thinks he's Santa Claus. And that girl, the kid is so cute. She's cute as a button. Yeah. I mean, the little bangs. She basically looks like a miniature Becca right now
with brown hair. Oh, yeah.
She basically just explains to him like, hey, we've been really good and Santa keeps on skipping our house. And he's like, well, good news this year, you're at our house. And he always comes to our house. And he's like, okay.
Clark does a pretty good job, but he kind of gives up on the conversation because he's like, I don't know where this is going. He's like, let's just go to bed.
Yeah. And then so then we go the next morning over, and he's talking to Ellen in the living room. It's like, hey, I don't think they're getting each other Christmas presents this year. She's like, well, Eddie's been out of job for 7 years. He's like, he couldn't find a job in 7 years. He's like, well, Catherine said he's waiting for something management. It's like, okay. How are you going to get management without no experience?
Yeah. And why this conversation is going, Eddie is outside cleaning out. So if you have an RV or a trailer or whatever, your poop has got to go somewhere. And normally you would plug it up to a deposit at a station or something, and you clean it out. I know that because my family has a camper. He's just dumping it out
into the sewer.
The open.
Oh,
yep,
God.
Just directly into the sewer.
Shitter's full.
Yeah.
He looks so gross too when he's outside. He's drinking a beer. He's burping.
He's just white trash.
Yeah, white trash.
The epitome of white trash, and he's not going to change.
He's a sweetheart. He doesn't mean anything by it.
Oh yeah,
he is a sweet person.
I mean, just because you have white trash type tendencies doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah, he's not the meth style of white trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we cut from this scene and they're heading to Walmart, and it's this funny scene where it's like, it's just the comedian style, comic style here, where like he's having the conversation with Clark and he just constantly keeps on getting bags of dog. I mean, he's got like $100 or so worth of dog. Oh, he's over $100 worth of dog food. He's like, but I can't get any Christmas presents for the kids. He's just about to buy over $100 worth of dog food for the Rottweiler. And he, basically Clark says, like, listen here, I know times been tough. We really like to help out. He's like, well, I don't want to take any charity. He's like, you know me, I don't like charity. He's like, I know, Eddie. Just, hey, if you don't tell me what they want, I'm just going to go out and get something that I think they want. He's like, okay. And then he hands them a list that's like freaking this long. But this scene, y'all, I'm going to put up a video right here. I don't know what, but, and if I ever, he's going to be at Monster Mania and I might go try to meet Randy Quaid and ask him about it. I don't know how he's going to feel about it. But
when Logan has these ideas, I just want to run away.
Well, y'all, if you haven't noticed this joke, I don't know if anyone's ever pointed out, I don't know if he's got something in his pants, but he has got
You're about to ask this man about his crotch?
It's a comic. It's comic. It's like, I think it's fake because it's like.
So you know how in the last episode I mentioned how John Candy's, it was just a zoom in on his bulge. In the car. I would never go ask that.
I'm just saying.
Why did y'all zoom in on your crotch? Was that on purpose?
If you haven't paid this, watch this scene. Watch it now. All right, now you see what I'm talking about? He's got this freaking rod in his pants, and he's like constantly he's grabbing on him like, okay, that's obviously a prosthetic or something going on. Or did he freaking have a hard on in the middle of the film? I don't think so.
If you plan on asking this man this, you are going by yourself. This is a horrible idea.
Anyway, I thought that I've laughed ever since someone pointed it out to me.
I'll be shitting bricks.
Hey, you should say that.
Yeah, shitting rocks. Don't ask that man that. If you do, I for real am walking away. That's just like, God forbid people sing happy birthday to me at a restaurant, I will leave. I don't care. I'm the wrong one.
All right. Anyway, so back to the story. Yes. So Eddie gives Clark a Christmas list, so he's going to help out. So make sure that Rusty and them have a Rusty.
Not Rusty.
Yeah.
Rusty and Audrey.
I forget what the kid's name, the little boy's name.
But,
make sure they have a nice Christmas.
Yeah. So then you have more families show up as if the people that were already there isn't enough. So Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis show up, and they're more just there for like the Christmas dinner part. I don't think they're actually there to like stay. And it's kind of everybody's sitting down. They're saying grace.
This is Christmas Eve. So they're having the Christmas Eve dinner.
And they're having a turkey on Christmas. Why would you not have a ham?
Well, some people do.
I know they do, but still.
But yeah, and we get Uncle Lewis, which is just an asshole.
Yeah.
And Aunt Bethany, who's just super, super old. Obviously she's got some memory issues.
Yeah.
Which is funny. So like my grandmother had dementia, and it's funny because when she had dementia, there's parts where like my grandmother was kind of like she always liked to tell jokes and like pull your leg and stuff like that. And I remember
she liked to cut it up. Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah, cut it up. Yeah. And when it started getting bad, I was, you as you do, you keep in contact and so forth. And I was calling her while she was in the home that she was in, because it was on her, the last legs of it. And she had her on my mom had it on speakerphone. I was talking to her, and I was like, I was like, hey, Gran. She's like, what's called? And she's like, who's on the phone? She was like, it's Logan. And she goes, who?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I got to being really sad, but she was joking. She's looking at my mom like, who?
She's like, I know who you are.
Yeah. She started giving her a wink, and I was like, I'd be damned. Of course she's going to be. Oh, she's sitting there in a nursing home with dementia, making fun of her having dementia. I almost started crying.
Hey, I mean,
but no, I was saying
turn lemons into lemonade.
Well, I know, like it was funny because like she was pulling, like I said, pulling my leg. But
yeah. So, but that's not what they're doing. These people just seem like old and completely out of it.
The fact that they got there by themselves. Yeah, who got them there?
Yikes.
That's a real problem.
Aunt Bethany says grace, and they go to cut the turkey open, and it's so dry that it just poofs open, explodes open with just dust and everything.
There's so many jokes in these scenes. Yeah, you get the cat.
If you've seen the movie, you'll remember all of them.
Yeah.
And the turkey bursts open, and Catherine's very, very upset. She says, I know I took it out too late or too early.
I put it in too early.
Yeah, put it in too early, and she's all upset.
Like, it's fine. It's just a little dry. Just a little dry.
Yeah, everybody's trying to fake it, like anybody does when someone makes a whole dinner. You're like, it's great. And then we get a knock on the door, and we get the mail delivery from Clark's work, which is a telltale sign that it is going to be Clark's Christmas bonus.
Yeah, he's basically been waiting so long for this thing. And
it's late. You got it on Christmas Eve. You're supposed to get it so you can spend it on Christmas.
We know he needs it, but we didn't know the extent of how bad he needed it. We didn't know that he wrote a hot check, and he really needed that bonus because it wasn't going to clear.
Yeah.
And so, we get the scene where, he gets there, and as I said earlier, he tells everybody about the pool, and, you're all going to come down, and you're all going to enjoy it with us if we have extra money left over, and everyone's excited. And, obviously, based off his expression on his face, it's not really what he wanted. And it's, he basically lets us know it's a subscription to 1 year of the Jelly of the Month Club. And then, of course, Eddie's got to say something. He's like, Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. And ultimately, Clark just loses his mind.
Yeah. He goes off on this huge tangent, and it's funny because
it's hard to even summarize, but we won't go through the whole thing because just a bunch happens.
But the cool thing so apparently to help Chevy Chase remember this, because it's a very long one. You know what I mean? It's a long one. If you look at him, he looks at, he'll look at Audrey, he'll look at Rusty, he'll look at Ellen, he'll look at Eddie or whatever. And apparently they had cue cards on their chest. Oh, yeah. So he didn't have to remember the whole rant. Yeah. And he could easily remember spots. Oh, nice. Yeah. So forth like that. And if you go back and watch, he looks at people when he starts to say certain phrases, because that's who you have the cue cards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little
So he
Marlon
just goes
Brando.
around the whole house and just not rips into everybody, but just rips into life.
Well, Uncle Lewis ruins his tree. The tree's dried out because Snot drank all the water out, and then Uncle Lewis lights up his stogie, burns it down. So he goes out and he's like, "I'm getting me a fucking Christmas tree." Yeah.
So he dresses up as Santa, goes outside with the chainsaw and cuts down a giant tree right in between his and Margot and Todd's house, which, if you cut down a tree around a house, it's just going to go where it goes, and it goes through the window of Margot and Todd's house. So they are livid. And while that chaos is going on, a squirrel gets inside and is running amok inside. In the tree. Yes. And so that craziness is going on. They're trying to chase the squirrel around the house. Margot demands that somebody between her and Todd go over to the Griswold's house. Yeah. Go over to the Griswold house to figure out what the hell is going on and give them a piece of their mind. So Todd's like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So Margot decides to go over there, and
there goes she opens
the
door.
Dog and the squirrel. She gets attacked by both. So then she comes back and just nails Todd right in the face. Yeah. He's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" She's all tore up, and she just knocks him out, knocks him over the couch like cartoon style punch.
And mind you, while this is going on, there's one of the jokes that Clark says, is like, "I would like my boss with a big bow wrapped around him. That's what I want for Christmas."
So I can give him his money. Yeah.
And then that's what Eddie's on a mission.
Disappears. And suddenly Eddie disappears, and you see the RV skirt out of the driveway. Oh. So Clark finally calms down after talking to his dad. Things are starting to level out. He's already sawed off the piece of the staircase or whatever. Yeah. What is it? The tip of the railing.
Railing or whatever.
Yeah. He's finally calmed down, and then before he knows it, in the window in front of him, Eddie's walking up with his boss.
He's reading The Night Before Christmas. That's the tradition.
Calmed down. Yeah, that's the tradition. Yeah. His dad gives on the tradition to him.
That's
He's
a sweet little
trying to-
moment.
yeah.
He's like, this is, I've retired. This is your year.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was a sweet. I like that a lot.
So now Eddie has returned with his boss, and Clark is like, what the heck, Eddie? I didn't mean for you to actually do this. And obviously his boss's wife notices that he's gone missing and simultaneously also calls the SWAT team because he's been kidnapped.
Yeah. And it's funny because when they bring him in, she's like Ellen says a joke was like, he's like, I would say this is our first kidnapping.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not from the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so ultimately his boss finds out like, oh, these people my employees really do need these bonuses. They really rely on them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, I didn't see my employees as people. And this kind of gave him some insight on
he has
to
his
what
come
happens.
to Jesus moment.
Yes. And as the SWAT team arrives and busts into the house, things are like finally calming down. And in the end of it, his boss gives him, kind of reluctantly, but still gives him, because his wife shows up and rips into him too for not giving his employees a bonus. So she influences giving them a bonus. So the boss, sorry, get them all mixed up. The boss gives Clark 20% of what he got last year, or add 20
Something
to what
like
he
that.
got last year. And that makes everyone happy. So then I think everybody sits down then to listen.
They go outside, and then once again, Uncle Luce is smoking a stogie, and it's brought up to what they spoke about earlier is about Eddie putting this his sewage into the sewer drain, which causes a gas buildup and causes a humongous explosion.
Yeah.
And then you see the blow mold fly through the sky and stuff like that. It was a funny little cute little thing. And this is where we get this beautiful matte shot of the background and the humongous moon and what's called do they start singing Pledge Allegiance again?
I think
it was because she's like when I told Aunt Bethany to say grace.
She's on the Pledge Allegiance instead. But yeah, so it's a happy ending. He's getting his bonus plus some. His house is still probably destroyed.
Back to that real quick though. It's funny. There's this part where when they're saying grace, if you watch Eddie's hands, the little jokes of Randy Quaid. I don't know. He's actually. I think he's very intelligent.
Well, I'm not gonna meet him if that's what you're gonna ask.
But he's sitting there. He's like, all right, says grace. He puts his hands together, but he does the whole like that.
He interlocks them. Yeah.
Like here's this church, here's the stable, open the church, there's all the people.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a happy ending and a very chaotic movie, like all the Lampoons. It's not a Lampoon movie without chaos. And it'll definitely be a movie that's in our home every Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And we really hope if you guys have not enjoyed it yet, since we're only 9 days out from Christmas, maybe 8. Depending on when you watch this, but based off when we're recording. And we hope you guys, at least if you haven't, watch it before Christmas comes, because it's not Christmas without the National Lampoons.
Oh no,
Christmas Vacation.
It's a classic. You got once again, yes, every movie we talk about 9 times out of 10, almost.
But
10
this
times
one we both really enjoy. You already know what he's going to say. It's his favorite movie.
It's not my favorite movie, but it is one of my. It is
one of his favorites.
It's not my favorite Christmas movie. I love
I just meant in general.
Oh yeah. I love Trapped in Paradise and Jingle All the Way. I love Miracle on 34th Street, but this is one I feel like it's probably it's in my top 3. Yeah, hands down. Was it the year? It's the year prior or the year it's the year before this. The year before this, Chevy Chase actually did another movie. I guess you consider it a Christmas movie because it takes place at Christmas at the end of it, which is Funny Farm. That's another good one.
Yeah, we still have to finish that one. Yeah, we appreciate you guys joining us for a good old Christmas movie. Christmas movies are probably my next favorite for Halloween movies. It just depends. But yeah, and we will still try to bring you guys at least one more, if not a few more Christmas movies before the Christmas season comes to an end.
Yeah.
All the holidays are gone until spring. And that's my birthday.
But yeah, so definitely, if you're new here, please share, and subscribe.
Leave us a review if you've been listening, whether it's one episode or many. We appreciate the feedback.
It helps us a lot. It allows new users to see our stuff and be, get their first
Helps us
introduction.
cover ground.
Yes.
But yeah, so we appreciate you guys listening, and we hope you guys are enjoying the Christmas holiday and all the favorite movies and shows that come with it. And we will see y'all next time.